am. So today I'm in a little bit of a rush, so I'm just going to be telling some quick facts and stories that I've heard around there. Pretty interesting. Cats sleep for 70% of their waking lives. Well, I guess not waking lives because they're asleep for most of it. 2, you know Bob Ross? The guy with the afro, a little bit of a hippie, paints things, kind of talks like this. Well, he was also a sniper in the Israeli army. 3, a little story about the US and dolphins. During the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it turns out that the US were trying to train dolphins how to speak. Whether this was to do mine-finding missions or to report intelligence on the Soviets, no one really knows. But the most fascinating part about the story was how they were training the dolphin to speak. As the dolphin matured, the dolphin started to, have those urges that all male dolphins have, and so became less receptive to lessons. So that the female teacher had to relieve the dolphin, which was, probably not in the job description. After which the dolphin became slightly more receptive to the lessons, but still was not speaking. So the doctors did what every doctor did during the 70s and 60s, which was drop acid with the dolphin. So that's the story of the government-sponsored project about dropping acid with dolphins, I guess. In Alaska, there's a law that says you can't look at a moose from an airplane. The top 2 steps and the bottom 2 steps are actually the most dangerous steps in the staircase. This one's terrifying. Men are actually more likely to be struck by lightning than women. Every second, collectively, America eats 100 pounds of chocolate. Every day, 20 banks are robbed. The average take is $2,500. Finally, on Reddit, there was a post about, tell me the scariest story you could find or experienced. And so a guy answered with probably the single most terrifying thing I've ever heard. This man was a traveling salesman, and he was on his way home from a long week of work. And so he was driving and said, well, I usually take the highways. Why don't I travel through the mountains? So he's driving along the mountains. The day becomes night. He's almost home. He's just still in the middle of the mountains, though, and comes to this mountain pass where there's just an accident. 2 cars have hit, and there's like 3 or 4 bodies laying in the road. The guy, who was then trained as an EMT, decided, I have to go help these people. But something seemed a little off, so he said, well, I'm going to drive through the crash site and then I'll park and come back and help these people. So he drives his way through the crash site and he gets to the other side and he throws it in park, and then he looks back into his rearview mirror and every single one of the bodies on the road is sitting up. Not only that, but 20 or more people started coming out from the trees on the side of the road, and they were all looking at his car. So he threw it in drive and got out of there. To this day, that image haunts me. The fact that about 25 mountain people staged this accident, and who knows what they were going to do if he had gone out to help them. Well, that's all for this week. Sam, see you on Wednesday.